Good evening. It's 6 p.m. It's Saturday, the 26th of October, and welcome to our Saturday evening news programme coming live from the heart of Wyke Regis. And in the news this week, Dorset County Hospital's Charities Emergency and Critical Care Appeal has received a major boost following the announcement that the total fundraising figure from the Dorset Sunflower Trail this summer. The Hoskins family of Maiden Castle Farm visited the hospital to celebrate the success of the many and varied events that took place in relation to this year's trail and to reveal the final amount raised. And the total was £16,300 donated this year by Hazel and her family, which will go towards the charity's Emergency and Critical Care Appeal. This also brings the amount raised by the Dorset Sunflower Trail for Dorset County Hospital to an amazing £63,000. Hazel said, we were determined to smash through the £50,000 mark this year for the total we've been able to donate to Dorset County Hospital through our sunflower events to date. We want to thank everyone who came to visit the Dorset Sunflower Trail and also everyone who took part in the associated events. We love having the public come to see what we're doing on the farm. It's our way of giving something back for the incredible care our families received from Dorset County Hospital over the years. In total, over 11,000 people visited the Dorset Sunflower Trail this summer, joining in events such as the Sundowner Evening, Storytime and Pilates. In addition, money was raised by Art in Poundbury and a number of local businesses in and around Dorchester, as well as through initiatives managed by Dorchester Town Council. If you want to find out more about Dorset County Hospital's Emergency and Critical Care Appeal, you can visit the special DCH charity website at www.dchcharity.org.uk. That's www.dchcharity.org.uk. Dorset Council have said that thousands of people who are over state pension age are missing out on financial support that could mean they are £75 a week better off. Pension credit is extra financial help to assist with living costs if you are of state pension age, that's 66 plus years, and on low income. It can help with general housing costs and bills and give you extra support that you are entitled to. It is separate from the state pension, which means that you could still be entitled to pension credit even if you have other income or savings or own your own home, if you fall within the criteria. Now, it's easy to check whether you are eligible and to make a claim, and you can do this online at a special government website, www.gov.uk/pension-credit, or you can call the Pension Credit Claims line. That's 0800 991234. So just to remind you, if you wish to claim, you can call the claim line 0800 999 1234 or www.gov.uk/pension-credit. Now, if you need extra help in applying, you can do this via one of the local organisations such as Citizens Advice or Age UK. That's if you need help with the application process, and you can make contact with them through the Dorset Advice line, and that's on 0800 144 8848. That's 0800 144 8848. Now, the latest update from Nature's Calendar, which is the Woodland Trust's citizen science project, suggests that there have been knock-on effects of heavy rainfall earlier this year. The effects of a wet spring may have extended from bees and butterflies to birds, with data suggesting that fruits are scarcer than usual. After 2023's bumper, hawthorn berry crop numbers have dropped significantly this year, and the hedgerows are looking much less inviting for hungry wildlife. According to Nature's Calendar data, hawthorn berries have now hit their lowest numbers, as have elderberries, which are scoring just 2.8 on the fruit scale, comfortably below their annual average of 3.66. Other species such as ash, ivy and oak are also showing their lowest fruit scores since current records began in 2001. Judith Garforth, who's the Citizen Science Officer for Nature Calendar, said the low fruit yield comes after downpours earlier in the year, which may have damaged those early blooms, some of which may have opened early, coaxed out by the warm temperatures. It's also been widely noted as a bad year for pollinators, which would also have been impacted by the rain and which in turn could have contributed to the low fruit yield we are now seeing. Spring 2024 was notably warm and then wet, with the warmest recorded February since 1779, followed by the 6th wettest April on record since 1836. So obviously those combinations have affected the yields of many fruiting trees and plants. Now, members of Dorchester's Joint Heritage Committee gathered recently to see the unveiling by the Mayor, Councillor Robin Potter, of 2 new heritage information panels in Dorchester, celebrating different aspects of the town's rich history. At Fordington Mill, the Mayor revealed a new heritage information panel which told of the history of the building and the Mill Street area. The mill was converted many years ago into residential units and is managed by the Mill Street Housing Society. The members of the Dorchester Joint Heritage Committee then walked up to the King's Arms on High East Street for the unveiling by the Mayor of an information panel about the history of this important building, which featured in Thomas Hardy's Mayor of Casterbridge. The King's Arms is owned by the hotel chain Stay Original, and its managing director, Rob Graceman, were there. At both locations, the Heritage Committee were joined by the Dorchester Town Crier, Mr. Anthony Harrison, who performed a cry to celebrate the history of the area. Now, last week, on the 16th of October, a counterfeit vinyl record seller was ordered to pay further compensation when undisclosed assets were discovered following a new investigation. Following a previous Dorset Trading Standards investigation in 2020 into a business selling counterfeit vinyl records worldwide, Richard Hutter, trading as Vinyl Groove, pleaded guilty to 14 offences under the Trademarks Act 1994 and the Copyright and Designs and Patents Act 1988 and the Proceeds of Crime Act 2002. Mr. Hutter was finally sentenced in Bournemouth in April 2023, where the court heard that he had benefited from his crimes to the tune of £1.2 million. He had to produce details of his assets, and the court ordered that he repay just over £373,000 within 3 months or face a 3-month jail term. Under the terms of the counterfeit confiscation order, the remaining £900,000 would have to be paid by Mr. Hutter if any further assets were identified in future. In July 2023, Mr. Hutter completed paying his confiscation, but Trading Standards noticed a discrepancy in the payments that led to them to believe that he may have further undisclosed assets. As a result, Dorset Council's accredited financial investigator began a new confiscation investigation. This investigation found that Mr. Hutter had assets of £229,000 that were not declared at the previous hearing. At a further hearing in Bournemouth Crown Court in October, Mr. Hutter was ordered to pay this additional sum within 3 months or face a 3-year default sentence. Now, the good news is the money from proceeds of crime, all this money that's recovered, is reinvested by Dorset Council into further disruption and asset recovery work and to help local crime-fighting priorities for the benefit of the community. Now, the leader of Dorset Council, Councillor Nick Ireland, has written to the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister and Secretary of State for Housing, Communities and Local Government, Angela Rayner, expressing his disappointment following the government's decision to allow the Portland incinerator to go ahead despite much local opposition. In his letter, he states, "I would like to take the opportunity to express my deep disappointment at the recent decision by government to grant permission for the proposed incinerator on the edge of Portland Port. The strength of local feeling in opposition to this is striking, and there is strong feeling that government has pushed this through without thinking through the consequences to the residents of Dorset who live in the vicinity and beyond of this proposed facility. The recent BBC analysis on the burning of household waste in large incinerators signified that it is now the dirtiest way that the UK generates power. Given that as a nation we have been binding to emission targets coupled with our own ambitious plans to decarbonise Dorset, this feels like a retrograde step of monumental proportions. As I said when we recently questioned on this issue, the proposed incinerator has kneecapped our own net zero ambitions." Now, if you wish to see a full copy of the letter, this can be viewed on the Dorset Council website. Now, Wessex Water has announced that a major road in Weymouth will be closed to through traffic in early November to allow it to make emergency repairs to a collapsed sewer. King Street, near Weymouth Railway Station, will be shut to through traffic between the junctions with Queen Street and Crescent Street and Gloucester Mews for 5 days from Monday the 4th of November. The road closure will mean diversions will be in place, and this will affect many local services such as local bus routes. So do allow extra time for travel and do look at any notices about changes in bus routes. Now, Dorset Council are looking for support from the local community to help deliver Chesil Youth Pride 2025. Now in its third year, Chesil Youth Pride is a youth-led family event that celebrates Dorset's LGBTQ plus young people in Weymouth and Portland and beyond. Dorset Council is looking for support from the local community and from voluntary organisations who would like to proactively help in the planning and running of Chesil Youth Pride 2025. Volunteers will join a working group made up of Dorset Council employees and partners. Chesil Youth Pride was created after the council received feedback from young people saying that they felt unsafe in their communities and they wanted a safe space to be themselves. Last year's event saw over 200 young people and their families, friends and allies attend a stand event at Weymouth College, with many going on to join celebrative group parade along Weymouth Esplanade. If you'd like to find out more about Youth Pride 2025 or to offer your support, you can email Chesil Youth Pride at dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. That's Chesil Youth Pride at dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. Now, dedicated Community Speedwatch volunteers monitored over 15,700 vehicles and issued 387 warning letters during a week of action aimed at making Dorset's roads safer. Community Speedwatch is a road safety initiative which empowers volunteers to contribute to road safety and raise awareness of the dangers of speeding in their localities. The scheme is community-driven, actively supported by Dorset Police, and allows members of the public to play their part in achieving the shared goal of reducing casualties on our roads. The volunteers operate with a basic speed detection device to monitor drivers exceeding the speed limit. The device does not take photos and the results do not result in a fine. Instead, a warning letter is sent by the police to the registered keeper of the vehicle, notifying them that their vehicle was seen to be exceeding the legal speed limit. The aim of the letter is to make drivers think of their speed in future and to drive in future within the speed limits. Between Monday the 14th of October and Sunday the 20th of October, 32 Community Speedwatch teams deployed on 46 occasions covering over 100 locations, monitoring in excess of 15,700 vehicles, of which 2.5% were exceeding the speed limit and will receive warning letters. The highest speed recorded was 55 mile an hour in a 30 mile an hour limit. As well as warning letters being issued, the work of officers and the safety camera teams during the week resulted in more than 200 speed and other offences being processed. Now, if you're interested in the work of Community Speedwatch and maybe you'd like to consider volunteering within your local community, you can get in touch via the Dorset Road Safe website at www.dorsetroadsafe.org.uk. Now, Dorset Museum and Art Gallery are inviting you to join them this October half-term for a special exhibition. It's called We All Bloom Differently, and it's been created by Dorset's Care Leavers to mark National Care Leavers Week. The exhibition offers an opportunity to explore the personal stories, thoughts and creativity of those who have experienced being in care. Each piece of art reflects the individuality and resilience of young people who have overcome challenges and blossomed in their own unique ways. 18 care experienced young people have been involved in the organisation of the exhibition, with many of them also showcasing their original work. Two of these young people are Alani and CJ. CJ said, "The exhibition is important to me because I want people to challenge the way they think of care experienced young people. Be proud with us of our achievements, celebrate and enjoy." Alani said, "The exhibition is important to me because I've never really had the chance to create and work out who I am as a person. I have always had to listen and follow rules. In care, I had to be what was expected of me, and that got in the way of me exploring who I really am. This has been a chance to be seen as a person for who I am and not someone else's expectations. We have organised this as a team, actively listened together and agreed what we wanted this exhibition to become. We have empowered each other to create something we are proud of. Pages are stuck together. So We All Bloom Differently will be run from Monday the 28th of October to Friday the 1st of November, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Entry is free. And the hope is that members of the local community will take time to visit and learn more about Dorset's care levers. To find out more about the exhibition, you can go to the Dorset Museum website, www.dorsetmuseum.org /event/We All Bloom Differently. Or if you just go to dorsetmuseum.org, I'm sure you will find the events page there. Now, we're staying with Dorset Museum, and the picture up on the screen is actually to do with the second part of this story. The Wildlife Photographer of the Year exhibition closes on the 3rd of November, and that's been at Dorset Museum and Art Gallery also. As the final stop on the tour, it's your last opportunity to see the amazing entries from the 59th year of the competition, as touring started for its 60th year on the 11th of October at the Natural History Museum in London. So this is the end of the tour at Dorset, and the 60th year has already started. Launched in 1965, the Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition has grown to be a prestigious global platform showcasing the world's best nature photography. For the 59th year of the competition, an astonishing 49,957 entries from over 95 countries were submitted. The most compelling 100 images were selected by a panel of industry experts who judged each entry based on its creativity, originality, and technical excellence. This temporary exhibition can be enjoyed at no additional cost to Dorset Museum and Art Gallery's standard museum entry ticket, which also allows for unlimited return visits to its permanent galleries and temporary exhibitions for a year. Members and valid unlimited ticket holders can visit the exhibition free of charge. So 2 things there at Dorset Museum and Art Gallery this week. Now, on Sunday the 10th of November, the Mayor of Weymouth, Councillor John Norrell, will be joined by his chaplain Neil Biles, veterans, councillors, including the Armed Forces Covenant Champion and members of the Armed Forces, for a service of remembrance. The service will be at the Cenotaph on Weymouth Promenade from 10:55 on Remembrance Sunday, and members of the public are also invited to attend to come together to remember the service and sacrifice of all those who defend our freedoms and protect our way of life. At 11 a.m, members of the Node Fort Garrison will fire the first cannon from the beach, signalling the start of the 2-minute silence, followed by a second at 11:02 to mark the end. There will be wreath-laying service at the Cenotaph, followed by a parade along the esplanade to the US War Memorials, where a further short wreath-laying ceremony will also take place. Mayor of Weymouth, Councillor John Norrell, said, "I will join representatives from our armed forces for a service of remembrance at the Weymouth Cenotaph on the esplanade, where I will lay a wreath on behalf of the town. The poignant service on Remembrance Sunday is usually very well attended due to Weymouth's rich military history. Anyone who would like to join us should gather at the Cenotaph in good time for the service at 11 a.m. Now, a few bits of organisational stuff to do with that. On the day, there'll be free parking in the Dorset Council-operated car parks at the Swannery, Melcombe Regis or Park Street, so you can attend that event without paying. There will be parking prohibitions on the seafront, of course, because there will be the service and the parade, so do look out for warning signs, and there will be traffic diversions in place during the morning of Remembrance Sunday from 10 a.m. to approximately 12 p.m. And if you're in Weymouth Town, just be wary of those cannon firings at 11 o'clock and 11:02, so you don't jump, or anybody that doesn't particularly like loud noises is aware and can stay away from the seafront, because I am told they are loud. There we go. Now, finally, in the news headlines tonight, this weekend marks the transition into winter as the clocks go back. So tomorrow morning we get an extra hour in bed, as the time will leap back by an hour at 2 a.m. Unfortunately, if you work nights, you'll have to work the extra hour, But on the plus side, if you're on night shifts when the clocks go forward next spring, on Sunday, March the 30th, you'll have 1 hour fewer to work. According to the Royal Observatory, a form of daylight saving time had first been proposed in 1784 by Benjamin Franklin, but the idea wasn't taken seriously until William Willett wrote a pamphlet in 1907 called The Waste of Daylight, in which he called upon a new time system to be implemented to take advantage of the earlier summer dawns. A year after his death in 1916, Germany became the first country in Northern Hemisphere to try daylight saving time. Just a few weeks later, the UK adopted the same, along with other countries that were drawn into the First World War, which started in 1914 and ended in 1918. During the Second World War, the UK temporarily switched to British double summer time, or GMT plus 2, during the warmer months to help with the war effort. And between 1941 and 1945, the spring clocks would move forward 2 hours ahead of GMT to extend daylight hours into the evening, which helped save on fuel for lighting homes, shops, factories and offices during the day. During autumn, when the clocks went back, time reverted to GMT plus 1 to increase productivity. It ended when World War II was over, but briefly reappeared in the summer of 1947 because of severe fuel shortages. Since 1916, the clocks have gone back every autumn, except for a 3-year experiment between 1968 and 1971. Then the time stayed on British summertime, given the grand name of given the grand title of British Standard Time, to see if there were any advantages to extend daylight saving the whole year round. Of course, not everybody likes daylight saving time, but the arguments for it are that it reduces road traffic accidents, encourages people to exercise outdoors while it's light, reduces energy usage, and it's better for the environment. And that people get the opportunity to enjoy longer evenings, which boosts the leisure, tourism and hospitality sectors. Of course, whatever your views are, don't forget before you go to bed tonight to put your clocks back 1 hour. Now that's the end of the headlines in tonight's news. It's now time in tonight's programme to go over to our regular contributor Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to White Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This weekend, Venom: The Last Dance releases in cinemas. The film is the sequel to 2021's Venom: Let There Be Carnage, and is the third and final film in the Venom trilogy. The film stars Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, an investigative journalist who is the host of the alien symbiote Venom, which gives him superhuman abilities. This film revolves around Eddie and Venom going on the run across America when they are hunted by both of their worlds, so by the American government and by the creator of the symbiotes, Null, played by Andy Serkis. The film also deals with the fact that Tom Hardy crossed over to the MCU at the end of the last film. So, if you may remember from the end of Venom: Let There Be Carnage, there was a post-credit scene where Tom Hardy warped to Earth 616, where he saw a news report of Peter Parker's being unveiled as Spider-Man, and he appeared in Spider-Man: No Way Home, where he came back to his world. The film has received mixed to negative reviews so far from critics, so similar to the previous films in the trilogy. But the films are popular with fans, including me, because I really like the first two Venom films, so the critics' opinions don't really play a factor here. Venom: The Last Dance is in cinemas this weekend. This week, the fantasy comedy film Harold and the Purple Crayon was released on home video. The film is it's a sequel to the 1955 book of the same name, and stars Zachary Levi as Harold, a man who has a purple crayon which makes whatever he draws come to life, with the film revolving around Harold from the book growing up in the book, and then he draws himself out of the book and into the real world, only for him to have a lot to learn about the real world. The real world's not such a nice place as he thought it was. The film was a box office bomb and failed with critics. From what I've seen, it largely seems to have connected with wider audiences. The audiences that seen it liked it. But it still failed. I watched the film for the first time this week, and I thought Zachary Levi gave a very weak performance, and it just was very similar to his role in Shazam, but he couldn't bring any weight to this film, and during the film's emotional scenes, I just felt like Zachary Levi, what he was doing was not right for the part, and I thought that the film in general it's a good idea. We've seen it done before, but it's a good idea. But the film is generally too childish and infantile for its core PG-rated audiences. So I gave the film 2.5 stars out of 5. That's all I have for this week. Be sure to check back next week, where I'll be talking about the home video releases of Despicable Me 4 and Late Night with the Devil. I've seen both of those, so I don't need to wait for whatever's going on with the Blu-rays. So, now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrew. We'll be back with Andrew next Saturday as usual. It's now time in the programme to go to the Met Office for the Saturday evening forecast. And this week we are joined by Catherine Chalk.
Hello. We'll see skies clearing overnight tonight to leave many places with a bright but chilly start to Sunday. Looking at the bigger picture then, we have this cold front that's going to be sinking its way south and eastwards, then a ridge of higher pressure extending across the south before the next frontal system moves through into Sunday across northwestern parts, introducing a lot of cloud and rain, especially across the UK on Monday. But back to the rest of this evening and overnight. Cloud across the southeast will generally fade. We may see some mist and fog patches developing. Then this cold front will sink its way south and eastwards. But as it does so, it generally weakens just to leave a bit of cloud towards the far south and east. Elsewhere, many places seeing clear skies. We will hold on to a few showers towards the far north of Scotland, but otherwise it is going to be a colder night out there to start Sunday morning. Mist and fog patches towards the south, but further towards the north we may see some pockets of frost to start the day. But that means a bright start to Sunday, plenty of autumnal sunshine around, and we'll hold on to that sunshine, especially across England and Wales through much of Sunday. Further towards the west, it will be turning much gloomier. We'll see outbreaks of rain moving through across Northern Ireland and especially across northwestern parts of Scotland too. Could turn quite heavy at times and persistent with a bit more of a breeze as well. But in the sunshine, we'll see highs up to 13, 14, possibly 15 degrees. So a touchdown on Saturday, but feeling chillier, especially under the persistent rain towards the north and west. So as we go through Sunday evening, this rain will continue to move its way south and eastwards, turning heavy at times across parts of Cumbria and then into parts of Wales, the Midlands, and then gradually towards the southeast to start Monday. But there's going to be a lot of cloud around through into the start of Monday. That will help keep temperatures up, so not quite as cold, but we may hold on to some clearer skies towards the far south and east. So that leaves a quite murky picture out there. On Monday morning, there's going to be a lot of cloud around across much of the UK with outbreaks of rain and drizzle on and off, perhaps turning quite persistent at times across parts of Wales. There may be some glimmers of sunshine towards the south and east, but on the whole, it is going to be a largely cloudy start to the new working week with temperatures around 15 or 16 degrees. And don't forget that the clocks do fall back tonight, so you've got an extra hour in bed. But otherwise, make sure to hit subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a forecast. And I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for the Saturday evening and weekend forecast. And looking at what's in store for the week ahead, Obviously, we've got changeable weather over parts of tomorrow and Monday morning, but still remaining fairly mild down here on the south coast, and some sunny spells, and perhaps drier and mild the rest of the week. There we go. Not looking too bad. Obviously, chance of some rain tomorrow night and first thing Monday morning. Now, looking at the what's on, we have got coming up at Weymouth Pavilion, 27th of October, that's tomorrow, Buddy Holly and the Cricketers. 31st of October, Steve Backshall's Ocean. 20th of November, Fairy Tale of New York. 8th of November, Gareth Malone, Sing Along Gareth. I think that's a bit of a participation event there, so that sounds good. 9th of November, Ben Elton, Authentic Stupidity. And the 13th of November to the 16th of November, Wow presents Our House, the Madness Musical. Now, I'm sure that's going to be really, really good. Now, more information on all the other shows and to book tickets for the ones I've told you about and anything else happening at Weymouth Pavilion, the best way is to go along to their website, weymouthpavilion.com. Now, Remembrance installation at the Knowth Fort is coming up on Saturday, the 9th of November, 10:30 to 4 p.m. They're building on the previous efforts they've done of building a cascade of poppies. This year, all made from recycled bottles. Some of the poppies have been named in honour of loved ones. And the unveiling of that installation will be followed by a remembrance service held on Saturday, the 9th of November. So keep an eye on their website for more information at knowthfort.org.uk. We've been mentioning throughout the summer the Abbotsbury and Portersham, the fact that they're celebrating their millennium this year from a charter granted in 1024 by King Canute. Now, there are events that have been run all through the summer, and this weekend is their Scarecrow and Pumpkin event. So if you're going out round that way, have a look out for the scarecrows and pumpkins. Also, to let you know that Arts Reach have got an award-winning Canadian trio coming up. Award-winning folk musician Alison Lupton hails from the heart of rural Ontario, Canada, where her love for music took root. Alison has gone on to win multiple Canadian Folk Music Award nominations, including Traditional Singer of the Year, and for this special tour will be joined by Canadian US Grand National Fiddle champion Shane Cook. So there we go. And they're going to provide a glorious mix of beautiful songs and storytelling, electrifying fiddle tunes and dazzling step dance, united by a warm and frequently humorous stage presence, it says. Now, they are going to be in Blandford on the 7th of November, in Woodlands on the 8th of November, and Powerstock on the 9th of November. And if you want to find anything out about those, just go to Arts Reach website, just search for Arts Reach in Google, and then you will find their website and that and all the other shows that are happening throughout Dorset. Also, to let you know about... No, that's gone. There's no point in letting you know about that. That was the exhibition about the Dorset coast and the storm of 1824 that I mentioned last week, but that was actually, I believe, on... there is another chance to see the exhibition on the 24th of November on Portland. It was this week at the Weymouth Library, but it's returning on the 24th of November on Portland. So I'll mention that again nearer the time. But that's about the Great Storm of 1824 that did a lot of damage locally. Right, church services in Wyke and close by tomorrow. All Saints Church, 8 o'clock communion, 9:30 communion at All Saints Church, and 11 o'clock Sunday service at St Edmunds, Weymouth. Our other programme, our Saturday evening quiz, is on tonight at 7:30. I do apologise for the problems we had with technology last week. We did get there in the end, but it was a bit of a struggle. We've ironed out the gremlins, and I'm hopeful tonight's quiz will go without a problem. If you'd like to join us, that's 7:30 prompt start, and it's free, it's family friendly, and you will all be welcome. Now, that brings us to the end of this week's programme. If you've got any news, events, or anything else to share with us, and for us to share with the people of Wyke Regis, Weymouth and Port and South Dorset and beyond, do drop us a line to news@wykeregis.tv. We would love to hear from you. It just remains for me to say have a good weekend, have a good week ahead. It is half-term week, so if you're away from school and you're off with the family, have a good week. And I look forward to being back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Good night.